So my fan experience survey was at a Philadelphia 76ers game. They played the Orlando Magic, and it was a fun game. It was my first NBA game. It was a lot of fun. It took place at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 7 p.m. And unfortunately, the 76ers lost to the Orlando Magic 103 to 101. And some of the demographic questions, 66.7% were male and 33.3% were female. And I see that throughout some of the questions, it says 9 responses. So some people, well, one person didn't answer all of the questions. And then as age-wise goes, between 18 and 35, it was 66.7%. And then 11.1% between the ages of 36 and 54, 55 and over, and 0 to 17. So one thing is I tried to definitely ask fans that were a different audience range to see how different the answers would turn out. 30% of fans said they are a season ticket holder, and 30% of the games that they've attended before said it was their very first game. 20% have attended less than 5 games, and 10% have attended between 6 and 10, and then another 10% for more than 10. And the reasoning behind why they attend a 76ers game is 60% said that it's just the love of the game, they love basketball. 30% said for the fan experience, and then other was for 10%. The people in their party, 77.8% were only in a party of 2, and then 11.1% was a party of 4, and 11.1% was a party of 5 or more. And again, someone didn't answer all of these questions as only 9 responded. And then 77.8% said they usually attend games with their friends, and 22.2% they attend games with their family. So it's friends and family out of these selected fans. Now for the cost, the average amount spent on a game, including parking tickets, food and drinks, and merchandise, was between $0 and $100. It was only 77.8%, and then 22.2% was between $100 and $250. And it also depends too, for season tickets, where your seats are, how much that'll average per game, and then as well as if someone does end up eating at the basketball game. I know I usually end up eating before I go, and I might just get a drink there. So it kind of all depends. But then on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being the cheapest and 10 being most expensive, how would you rate the concession prices in the venue? And 55.6% rated as a 7, so it wasn't extremely expensive, but it wasn't average. It was kind of a little pricey, but not on the deep end. And then 22.2% rated an 8, so a little more expensive. And then 2 also said then 22.2% rated it a 6. So all of it's being a little more expensive than average, but not too expensive where it's not affordable. As far as sponsors go, what sponsors of the 76ers do you recognize? And again, one person did not answer this. 8 of the fans said StubHub, so 88.9%. And then 22.2% said Papa John's, 66.7% said Toyota, 22.2% said First Trust Bank, and DraftKings was also 22.2%, and they could check more than one. So whichever one they were familiar with, if they were familiar with all of them, they could check all of them. And I do know that First Trust Bank, the 76ers only just recently partnered with them after the huge controversy with the Wells Fargo. And then their favorite player, 60% said Joel Embiid, and he is coming off missing seasons because of having foot surgery, and he's leading the team, and he is nicknamed, he calls himself the Process. And then 20% said Robert Covington, and then 20% they named a non-76er, and it was an open-ended question, so they were able to just type in their answer of who their favorite player was. And that is a question that could have been worded differently, because even though it's for 76ers, the fan experience, just asking who their favorite player is, maybe they have a favorite player that's a non-76er. So that is something that I could change for in the future, is to be more specific in my questions to get more of a direct result. And suggestions for the organization, this was an open-ended question that I allowed the fan to write in their answer. And 38% actually said they would like to see cheaper concession prices. But with it being professional and they have to make a profit and earn revenue somehow, they do the prices, but they would like to see some cheaper concession prices. 25% said more promotional giveaways, and then 12.5% was having the team win more games, because winning more games also goes into the fact of the fan experience and whether or not the arena is going to be full of guests, and whether or not the crowd is going to be rallied up if they're winning games. If they're losing, you're not going to see as full of a crowd. 12.5% said better sound effects, and then 12.5% said opportunity to meet players before and after the game. So these are just a few improvements of what the organization could do to improve these are some suggestions on what the organization could do to improve their fan experience. And overall, it wasn't really that difficult. I asked people around in my section, and leaving the game, I got a few people, and they were more than willing to answer the questions. There was one fan, though, that was kind of a little rude, but then understanding. Once understood, this is what it's for and how it'll benefit, they were more than willing to participate. And I made sure to go from each age demographic, and even I had no idea that a person that participated in the survey was between the ages of 0 and 17. I had no idea. So it was kind of cool that I did try to mix it up a little bit and get somebody from a different age bracket, just to see how different their responses would be, which I had explained. And then something to just improve on would be just being more direct with the questions, and for them to fully understand they understood the questions, but just to be more direct, like with the one with their favorite player. But then also just asking more open-ended questions and more behavioral, to understand, what makes the fan experience so great for them.